$1.79 million were paid to scammers in the last financial year, just in 6 months, from May 2020 to October 2020. And who are these scammers? And this $1.79 million is equal to 25 to 30 students' international fee. And it is a lifetime savings of 4 adults with an average income in Australia. Who are these scammers and who gets affected by these scammers? Hi, I'm Santoshi Reddy. I help international students like you, providing the information I have about part-time jobs, internships, and many more through my blog unichamps.org and through this channel to make their student journey easy. Coming back to our topic, who are these scammers and who gets affected by these scammers? One day I received a call. This was last year, somewhere in October. A girl called me whom I met through my blog. She was an international student. She's an international student. And then she came up to me and said, "Hey Didi," Didi means in Indian language, sister. She said, "Hey Didi, I have a situation." I said, "What's wrong, dear? Are you all right?" She said, "I've been issued an arrest warrant for not paying the taxes." I said, "What? Did you work during your student as a student?" She said, "No, I didn't work." "Then how come you've been issued an arrest warrant for not paying the taxes?" And she said, "I think something happened when I'm passing through the customs, so they are saying that I didn't pay when I was traveling through customs." I said, "No, there is no such thing as that you pay taxes when you are traveling from your country to here." She traveled from India to Australia. I said, "No, I think there is something wrong with it. Are you still on the call?" She said, "Yes, I am still on the call." Because I got from a different number. I got a call from a different number. And her friend took over her phone and then she started talking to those scammers. I said, "Okay, I think it looks like something fishy there. It's not a real call because there is no such thing as arrest warrant if you don't pay your taxes in Australia. There is a lot of procedure involved before you get to that stage." Then she said, "I'm very scared. I told my parents to deposit $5,000 into the bank account, so I'm going to transfer them to these people." I said, no, don't do that. There is no such thing as. I had to really convince her a lot to make her understand that's not a fake call. See, that's how the scammers take the situation into their control to make the others believe that it's a real call. So finally she cut the call and then she realized that it's not a real call. She was ready to pay that $5,000, and which is equivalent to a full-time employee's 1 month take-home pay. See, this is what they take they target the people who do not know the procedures involved for paying taxes or for paying any penalties. So this is one type of scam. So what this scams involves is, it smells like it's coming from Australian Taxation Office. So before going further, I just want to give a bit of background how the tax system works in Australia. So people who earn more than 18,500, I think that's the minimum limit, have to pay the taxes on their earnings. So whoever earns below that amount, they don't need to pay any taxes. Okay, I think this is more relevant to the international students because most of the students fall in that category. So the Australian Taxation Office is the collector of taxes. So whatever the taxes paid by the general public goes to Australian Taxation Office. So they manage the governance around tax collection is managed by the Australian Taxation Office. So what happens is, when people get calls, usually Australian Taxation Office never calls any individual unless it is already been notified. For example, you didn't pay your taxes on time, so they notify you through the email, through the post. So if they sent you a letter saying that you haven't paid your taxes for so and so year, and this is the stuff, and then just provide the evidence that why you haven't provided the taxes. So they do that, and then the other process works, like they call you and then they find out how you're going with your overdue taxes. And that's very rare too, unless we call them. So they keep sending the letters. So this is how it works for overdue taxes. But when it comes to these scammers, what they do is they get you. Sometimes you even get a call from the taxation office number. So it looks like when you Google it, it directly goes to ATO number. So they make you believe that it is coming from there. So they do a cosmetic thing that it comes with that number, but it's not true. So that's how people start believing that it is a real call. So you have to be very careful. If you come across any situation like that, you have to say to the person talking on the other end, just thank you so much for calling. I will call Australian Taxation Office and let you know the details. I'm happy to pay if I'm overdue. Just put the call down and don't provide any personal information. This is where Australian Taxation Office, which I have shared some of the reports down below, you can have a read too. So they say that don't provide any personal information to those callers, because they may attack you in another way to get your details, or financially or emotionally. So don't ever attend that type of calls. And in Australia, there is no such thing as arrest warrant if you don't pay your overdue taxes on your first attempt. There is a long process to it to go to that stage. And the second type of scams that happens in Australia is sometimes you get an email from a well-established company saying that, oh, you've been offered a role, and for sponsoring you from overseas, you need to pay a certain amount of money to process your sponsorship visa. No, don't believe that. That's not true. If it is a well-established company, if they really sponsor you for the work, then definitely they have to bear all the expenses. So they have to bear even your accommodation, your air flight tickets, and everything to get you into the country. So don't ever believe that sort of emails. And if you have a doubt, because sometimes it's it looks like, it smells like a real one. So if you have a doubt about it, just Google that company and then take their number and email address, and then send an email to them saying that this is the email I have received, or call them if you can, and this is the email I have got, and is it true? Are you seeking any sponsorship visas for your company? So please let us know whether it's a fake or real. So definitely they will come back to you. And also they make a note on the company website that there are scams. Yes, I have seen some of the companies, they put a note saying that we have scams under our name. So just be careful with that type of scams as well. And the third type of scam is sending an email that you have won a lot of $10 million, and to process that, to release those funds, you need to pay some money into your account beforehand. That's also fake. So don't ever believe, because if it is a Oz Lotto or any other lotto company, if just think backwards, like did you buy any lotto, or did you buy any scratch cards or any sort of things that you have done before that? If you don't remember, don't worry about it. Call the company first and then verify it before you make any payments to that type of emails. And the fourth one which I came across is sometimes you get an email saying that, can you provide your banking details? You've been offered a job, and can you please provide your banking details to process the payment for your wages? Don't ever believe that too. Even before starting the job, if somebody asks you for the payment details, that means there is something fishy. There are legitimate companies. For example, you go to an interview. For example, if it is a recruitment agency, you go for an interview and they ask you to fill out a form with your banking details, superannuation, and all the details. That is a legitimate one, because it's a real recruitment agency, and they ask you to provide those details for their database. If you get it, and even then they don't ask your banking details before they offer you the job. So after they offer the job, they ask you to fill out all those details, because you're going to start your job the next week or next day, something like that. So that's a legitimate one. But if it comes through an email, then you have to be a bit careful. It's a bit suspicious. If it is not, if you don't have any background to that email. So if you haven't heard anything from that company, but they ask you to provide your banking details even before they offer you the job, so that's a bit suspicious email. Just keep an eye on that type of emails. Never ever provide your personal information through this type of emails or phone calls. So be very careful. And the fifth scam that I came across, one day I was working in my office, and I got a call from anonymous number and saying that, hey Santoshi, are you Santoshi? I said, yes, I am Santoshi. Someone your friends of they just take name, or they don't take name, or your brother is hurt, he's admitted in the hospital and he needs payment urgently, so you have to, can you provide your credit card details? Then I was really shocked. What? My brother admitted in the hospital? And I didn't believe that. Okay, I said, because I know I work for hospital, so how the hospital system works, I know about it. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'm happy to make the payment. I was just a bit naughty there, so I provided all the fake credit card details to them, and they hang up because they know that I have identified that they are scammers. So that sort of things that you have to be very careful. They try to pinch your emotion just in a second, and then they try to frame a story around it. So don't fall for that type of traps. Especially I'm telling to international students and the immigrants, because these are the most affected people by these scammers. It can be due to lack of knowledge, or lack of experience in the country, or lack of knowledge how the system works. So just be careful about this type of scams. And I have shared some of the links for you to go through, and please let me know how you find this information. And thank you so much. I'll come back with another topic in my next video. Thank you. Bye.